I've just read a fascinating article citing a recent poll which says that more people are tuning in to online church services than ever went to church. It seems now we have hard evidence, not just anecdotal evidence, that people are indeed looking into Christianity as a result of this pandemic. And as a result of that, many people are asking big questions. But it seems to me that some of the questions that people ask come off the back of understanding the Christian faith rather than not understanding it. And that is certainly true of the sixth question that we come to in this book. As you'll know, I've been revisiting this book, a book that a friend and I wrote some years ago, If You Could Ask God One Question, which goes through the most frequently asked questions that people have when it comes to Christianity. And the sixth chapter, and therefore the sixth question that we're addressing in this book, is this: if I can be forgiven everything, doesn't that mean that I can do whatever I like? Now, you see, that question is a brilliant question, and it comes off the back of understanding the heart of Christianity. We looked at the very heart of Christianity last time, the cross of Jesus Christ, and we realised that when Jesus died on the cross, his death means that we can be forgiven for whatever we've done in the past. But of course, that does raise this question. If I can be forgiven for anything, doesn't that mean I can just go and live how I like? I remember a friend of mine talking to somebody about Christianity, and their objection went like this. This person was a businessman, and he was often working abroad with other colleagues of his, and his colleagues would go to the brothel on a Saturday night and then along to mass, to church on a Sunday morning. And this person didn't like that sort of duplicity. And he said, I didn't go to the brothel with them on Saturday, and I didn't care much to go to mass with them either. Do you see what's going on there? This kind of view that I can do whatever I like, I can even visit prostitutes, and then I can go to church and be forgiven. That seemed like a terrible cop-out. And of course it is, and it really is a terrible thing. If that's what Christianity is teaching, it's horrible. So how do we answer that? Well, let me take you to a story in Luke's Gospel. And the Gospels are the four accounts of Jesus' life, Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. And in Luke chapter 7, there's a fascinating story of Jesus being invited to a dinner party with a man called Simon, who was a Pharisee, a religious leader. And the dinner party started, and in came a gatecrasher. She happened to be a prostitute. And she started to wipe Jesus' feet with her hair. She poured perfume on the feet to cleanse them and then wiped it away with her hair. Well, you can imagine. It was a great way to ruin a fantastic dinner party. And Simon, the Pharisee, the religious man, couldn't understand what was going on. And Jesus said these words right at the end of that moment. He said, those who are forgiven much love much. This woman had, it seems, met Jesus before and been forgiven for her life of prostitution. She'd had a fresh start and she loved Jesus. She extravagantly loved Jesus. And that is a brilliant example of what happens when we really understand the gospel. When we know that Jesus died for us and forgiven us, well, then we are ready to live for him. Not to go and do whatever we like, but rather to live for him, to love him, to do whatever he tells us to do. So rather than the gospel, rather than Christianity giving us an excuse to go and do whatever we like, and what actually Christianity does, what the cross of Jesus does, is it makes us so thankful for what he's done that we want to live for him. Well, if you want to read some more about that question or any other of the questions that I've been addressing, then you can get a free e-copy of this book from the publisher, The Good Book Company. If you go to their website, The Good Book Company, and then type in If You Could Ask God One Question ebook, then you can download a free copy until the end of June.